Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Morning. Hey, the minutes were sent out to us at a time. So, are there any corrections to the minutes?
Moved it. Minutes as presented. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Olson, second by Commissioner Pelton to approve the minutes. Discussion. Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. The agenda. Al, do you have any?
No.
Dave? Craig?
No.
Bob?
I guess I'd like to talk about the grocery store that the one building killer.
Okay. And I would just add, the day after Christmas is a Friday. Right. And, so taking that day or allowing that day off. And the other thing is New Year's, is also on a Thursday, so the day after. Anyway, just for discussion, we'll see. The Back the Blue grant program, Sally sent out a email that they overpaid us, or no, is this the actual new grant? Okay. Okay, so the Back the Blue grant. Back the Blue. Right. All in favor, or I need a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kleeman, second by Commissioner Olson to approve the agenda with the additions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Eight. Minutes, request submitted. Anyone here? Apparently not. Okay. Road Department and engineer reports. There's Carl. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning, everybody. 92nd Avenue project, we're gonna put that on hold till the spring and revisit some discussions with the landowners at that time. There's a few things, a few of them want to see done in the county before signing off on that. So we're working with Commissioners Heiser and Pelton to see what our options are there. So status on that one. 12th Street, just working on easements right now and trying to get a hold of One Oak just to make sure we're good with their one pipeline there. That one is on the 2026 schedule for construction. 16th Street, we did complete all the regrade all around the cultural site. We are resubmitting our permit app for that project. And we'll be obtaining easements here soon on that project to target that one for 2026 construction as well. 20th Street, we're looking at pursuing Ducks Unlimited credits for the wetland mitigation along the project, getting our permit application put together for that, and I will reach out probably in the December meeting. I'll have a credit availability letter by then. 86th and 9th, we're kind of in the evaluation process with some of the environmental and cultural impacts along that. There's a bit to go through on that one as we put our permit application together for that, working on some plan set development. Like I said, there's a few cultural sites on there that'll require some coordination and making sure we can avoid. So 98th Avenue, that one we did rework our grading as well to get our our wetland impacts under the 10th acre threshold for a couple wetlands along there. We're working on getting that permit document submitted. I do anticipate that one going fairly smoothly, I think. So we're possibly looking at the 2026 timeline for that one, depending on the county's budget for roads. We'll visit probably in the spring on that. 2026 projects, we did complete our 14th Street field survey. We're just getting the data all put together so we can begin our grading design. We have begun our designs on 94th and 79th with avoidance of the cultural sites kind of as our main focus right now. So there are some sites on 79th that require some coordination with SHPO. But any questions? Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Got some quick updates too. For 119th, as you recall, we suspended that project at the last commission meeting per CSI's request with the intent of having liquid damages next spring. CSI did submit a request for reimbursement on stored materials, and they are entitled to that. So we have pay request number 1 in the amount of $25,000, and we're recommending payment.
What are the materials? Pardon?
The cattle guard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Madam Chairman, I move that we go ahead and pay request number 1 in an amount of 25,000 for 119th Avenue Southwest to CSI.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Felton, seconded by Commissioner Heiser to approve pay estimate number 1 for $25,000 to CSI. Discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall.
Yes, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Our next project is 99th Avenue Southwest. Martin Construction continues working on that project. They're making good progress. If you recall, there was a whole bunch of fabric and fill that needed to be placed for the State Historical Preservation Office. They're completed with that. So they're complying with the core permit. As of today, they have roughly 1.5 miles of the 2-mile project complete, and they've begun placing the topsoil. I've been working with Superintendent Schwarzenberger about getting some aggregate down as the county's providing the gravel on that project. Having said all that, we've prepared pay request number 1 in the amount of $307,372.12, and we are recommending payment to Martin Construction.
Madam Chair, make a motion to pay estimate number 1 for $307,372.12 to Martin Construction.
Okay.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser, seconded by Commissioner Kleeman to pay estimate number 1. I can't read that right now.
$372.12.
$372.12. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton, Commissioner Kleeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Manning project, so since our last commission meeting, we're continuing to gather easements. Holly's been collecting ones in person. We've been getting ones that are coming to mail. I did bring a stack of easements in and gave those to Holly this morning. Southwest approved the line reroute that was brought up at that public meeting, so that's being implemented in the final design. Once all the easements are gathered, we'll be looking at bidding this project. And I think we have one in the mail that we're looking for, and I think when I saw from Holly, I think she's got about five or six left too, so we should be getting that wrapped up shortly. So, the questions on Manning? 2025 projects, so 7th Street Southwest from 101st to 97th. We're still in the process of securing right away for that project with the understanding it will be constructed in 2026. 3rd Street, again, so the Corps was on furlough with the government shutdown. They're back. So we're looking at getting the extension for that Corps permit that we did get, so that can be constructed in 2027. The same with the second part of 7th Street, the 97th to 94th. Beaver Creek can now go back to working with the Corps and SHPO to try to get that permit approved too, with the intent of being constructed in 2027. For 2026 projects, we've kind of been in this cycle of, we have one landowner that we're still trying to coordinate for the cultural permission to go on. I hadn't been getting any return calls from her, but I did actually, she reached out to me last night, so I'll look at setting something up here again, hopefully before the next commission meeting, so. Any questions on those?
Oh.
Thank you, and Madam Chairman, I do have a request up there
Yep,
whenever you.
I got them signed.
Darren, I got one question for you. I've had a couple calls from some contractors on 119th. We're a little upset that we didn't charge any LDs for this year. They figured, the completion date was November 1st, and then we just kind of let them off the hook, at least till winter suspension. So it's something that they were, they got a bunch early on work and just let it go and they kind of get off the issue. So I just want to kind of pass that along as what's under their concerns.
Nope, I appreciate that. And again, so this is kind of the method that we did is what the DOT does. It kind of avoids litigation. There have been cases where it's brought up when you do, and you can be told that you're forcing them to open the project and then say if you get bad weather and they don't finish, it's kind of a catch-22, but
Yeah.
Just wanted to bring it up.
sure. No,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. James here is, oh, Highlands, okay. Go ahead.
Morning, Commissioners. Andrew Schrank with
Morning.
Highlands Engineering. Two projects to provide updates on today. First, our 15th Street Southwest and 118th Avenue Southwest reconstruction project. We did work with our subconsultant. There is a potential cultural site that they're still kind of looking into to see how that may impact the project. So we're coordinating with them to see if we have to do any reroutes or anything with that cultural site that may be on that project. 14th Street Southwest reconstruction. That project, the construction's complete. We issued final acceptance on October 27th for that project. We sent our final records out to county staff on November 7th. We do have the final payment application in front of you today, payment application number 7, in the amount of $16,748.99. We do recommend approval. This puts the final contract amount roughly 11% over the original contract amount, including change orders. The increase is mostly due to the rock excavation on that site, as well as some muck excavation down in the wetland areas. That was most of the overage, which is part of the PS1 schedule. So we do recommend approval of that final payment application.
Madam Chairman, I'll move that we pay payment number 7 in the amount of $16,748.99 to Schwartz Construction for 14th Street.
Is there a second? Motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Olson to pay estimate number 7, Schwartz Construction, in the amount of $16,748.99. Any further discussion?
Madam Chairman, how much was that over?
11%.
11%.
We'll have roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell.
Yes, motion carries.
That's all I had for today. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Jeremy?
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Got a few pay estimates to review and for your approval. Starting with 105th Avenue, we had the final inspection on that project last week. The county has accepted the project, so we've prepared pay estimate number 13, which will be the final one in the amount of $32,758.37, which we are recommending payment to Bronco Brothers Incorporated for that project.
Madam Chair, make a motion, pay estimate number 13 for $32,758.37 to Bronco Brothers Incorporated.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser, seconded by Commissioner Kleeman to pay estimate number 13 in the amount of $32,758.37 to Bronco. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell.
Yes, motion carries.
Next construction projects is on 98th Avenue and 4th Street by Dunn Center. The project is pretty much complete. We're going to schedule final inspection, hopefully next week with Terry. We do have pay estimate number 5. We are recommending, the amount is $49,080.03, which would be payable to Bechtold Paving.
Madam Chairman, I move that we pay estimate number 5 in the amount of $49,080.03 on 98th and 4th to Bechtold Paving.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Heiser to pay estimate number 5 in the amount of $49,080.03 to Bechtel Paving on the 98th Avenue and 4th Street project. For the discussion, roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes, the motion carries.
Next project is the Pinewood Meadows paving. That project is complete. We have yet to do the final inspection, which we're hoping to do next week. We do not have a pay estimate for that project, but the next one should be the final one. We do have a pay estimate for the 10th Street Northwest, 130th Avenue Northwest, and 7th Street Northwest project. It is pay estimate number 5. The amount is $380,817.88, which we're recommending payment to Bronco Brothers Incorporated for that project.
Madam Chair, make a motion to pay estimate number 5, the amount of $380,817.88 to Bronco Brothers Incorporated.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser, seconded by Commissioner Olson to pay estimate number 5 to Barranco Brothers in the amount of $380,817.88. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes, the motion carries.
So on that project, if you remember, we bid a 2026 completion date, which I believe was middle of June of 26. We also had an interim completion date of about this time this year, I'd say mid-November, late November of this year. Bronco Brothers has made the interim completion date, and they're actually making really good progress on the rest of it. So I don't see any issues getting them complete by the mid-June date next year. So I feel comfortable if the county wanted to proceed to the bid opening phase of that project, we can get the plans ready and bid maybe December or January for sure, if that is your wishes.
I would think that'd be a good idea for that far along and get it done, then we'll know kind of where we're at.
Yeah, and I know we've talked about it a couple times and with budget and some other things, I just want to make sure it's still a viable project. Okay. So we'll get it on the next bid opening schedule, which might be middle of December, or it might be for sure early January meeting. Okay,
They're still working on the road up there.
they are.
They are.
Yep.
The weather shuts them down pretty.
Which is, looking at the forecast is probably next week.
Yeah.
Middle of next week, and then that might be the end of it.
They're kind of looking at having their buttoned up by Thanksgiving and
Yeah.
see what it does after that.
Getting on borrowed time now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's looking good and they've got a lot done.
Good.
Yeah, they're making good progress. I do have one more pay estimate. That is for 3T in the JR's industrial subdivision. It is pay estimate number 6. The amount is $19,500.21, which would be payable to Win Construction.
Madam Chairman, I move that we pay estimate number 6 in the amount of $19,500.21 for 3T Street to Win Construction.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Kleeman to pay estimate number 6 in the amount of $19,500.21 to Win Construction on the 3T Street. Any discussion? That's not the final yet?
It is not the final. I'll mention it now. We're going to have a final inspection hopefully next week. So we'll potentially have 3 of them final inspection next week. But this is not the final estimate.
Discussion? Call vote?
Commissioner Heiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner.
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman.
Yes.
Commissioner Delzell.
Yes, the motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Some of the other design projects, we're collecting easements. 114th Avenue, which is a carryover from last year's project. 104th, 30th to 28th Street, trying to coordinate with one landowner on that project to go to bid. I would like to set up a meeting, maybe with Terry and a couple of road portfolio holders for that Killdeer Sidewalk or Trail that was talked about a while. We got some maps together and some rough costs, but wanted to get together with the county reps before we visit with the city reps. The other project that is shown on there is BI 10. Plans are almost done. I actually started signing the plans this morning, so hopefully later today they'll all be signed, but we have started signing the plans, but they're about 200 pages, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but we're pretty much done with those. So hopefully at the next meeting, that'll be kind of off the list. It's been a long process, but we're pretty much there.
Will you give them to Matt or the BAA?
Yep, what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep the originals and let Matt know that the plans are done and he'll have the electronic version of them, but we'll keep the originals. So then he can coordinate with BIA and the tribe. Some of the inactive design projects really hasn't changed a whole lot. Last but not least, the miscellaneous, the flex funding and bridge funding. Just as a reminder, the county got partial funding for that crossing on 91st Avenue. I believe that's Spring Creek it crosses. And then there is money, federal money for that bridge on 104th Avenue Southwest. So we'll kind of work on those, but the one on 104th Avenue might potentially have an issue with an easement, but we'll continue to work on that. And if we need help, we'll let you guys know. Any questions I can try to answer?
I believe so. Thank
Very
you,
good.
Jeremy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Terry?
Morning.
Good morning.
We have no utility permits today. And I guess as far as the road department, I guess we do have a couple new employees. I'll bring them in maybe the next meeting or so as we're kind of crunched for time. We're out super busy right now, so. Because I think, well, as Darren mentioned, we got another 1.5 miles of graveling to start doing before it gets cold here, so. So they're working on graveling, and when it gets cold, I guess we'll start hauling scoria.
So we got a opinion from Christina's office and Pat Merriman, Sally had sent out the response about the utility permits being just administratively approved. And the opinion is that they really should come to the commission. So like we've been doing.
Okay.
I don't know if that was I'll forward that to you.
Okay.
The opinion from Pat and Christina.
Sounds good.
Any
That's
questions?
all I got, unless anybody has anything else.
Thank you. Great, cruising right along. 9:30. So, Ryan and Teresa, were you waiting for anyone else? So might as well come up now if you, as long as you're here and. Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, I guess I can start. I'm Teresa Presser, the new Community Development Director for the City of Killdeer. I started my new role October 1st. And so happy to be on board and looking for all of the exciting opportunities that are to come.
Great, yeah. Ryan.
Hello, board. Ryan Schleppenbach. I am the new Parks and Recreation Director for Kilder, the city of Kilder. I started on October 6th and looking for a new adventure and another chapter in my life that hopefully will be one exciting time for everybody.
Great, yeah.
All I got. Any questions?
Questions?
Oh, you have something, Bob?
So,
I'll leave it alone.
Okay.
hey, do you want to talk about what you added to the agenda on the grocery store right now, or?
Oh, the grocery store. You're with your JDA too. And I'm not sure what the whole story is. Dave, you're in there too.
Mhm.
I see there's a meeting tonight. Kind of sounds like they want the community to build that grocery store. Right?
So I can give you some
Yeah.
I can give you some background on that. Terry Heinrich is retiring and he approached Bronson's or Logan Kessler to purchase his store. And so they did come to the city. And so we had a couple non-city or public meetings. We just had strategy sessions, if you will, with a few people to talk about, how to set them up for success in a sense. And so we met a couple of times and those meetings went really quite well. So what they're looking at is to come into the community and build a new grocery store. And so they are meeting with the JDA tonight. They came to the city. The city has a letter of intent that we will support this adventure, our new opportunity. But we're also looking at, what is the JDA going to be doing? And then the city hasn't made a financial commitment to it yet. But what we are truly looking at is more of a loan platform, is lending him the money, not just building everything. The city will provide infrastructure. And so the location has not yet been determined based on, we're looking at several different opportunities. And so there was 3 or 4 locations on the table, and the one that we're currently looking at would be an opportunity for an existing business that would be relocating. So there's still a lot of things that are in the works. So
Okay. Do you have any other
Well,
questions or comments?
I guess, that I had heard that JDA was talking about putting something into it. And the city and the county.
well, we haven't come to the county yet, so.
No, what,
And yeah, and so that is part of the plan is a statement of intent was to, make sure that everything's aligned and we're all on the same page
Mhm.
and to see how we can make that work. A grocery store is an essential business in a community. And so that is definitely something that we are looking at helping them with. But they are going to be bringing things to the table as well, right? So it's not just 100% loan. They have their own backing. They're working on some flex loans. They just are applying for a catalyst grant. So there's a lot of moving parts that we just haven't, that's really it's not in the infant stage. I'd say it's maybe more in the moving a little bit more to the toddler stage as far as getting everything together, but it's very, very preliminary. And one thing I will also tell you is that before the city makes a financial commitment, they will be having a public input meeting as well. So those are some really important steps. And then we also, are looking to possibly come to the county and see what the county would also be interested in participating. So.
I've gotten, I shouldn't say a lot of calls, but I've gotten concerns of, if the community goes ahead and builds this, what's gonna happen next?
And
They just want to make sure that everything is, I's are dotted and T's are crossed, so that, and the other thing is that they're not gonna be here for 3 years and then decide, well, this isn't working and walk away.
Well, and their goal is not, so they are invested in Beulah and they also have a grocery store in Bowman. And you're right, that has been brought up in you know, a lot of people have made, or not, several people made that same concern, but they are bringing things to the table as well. It's not like they're just coming in, we're building them this big, beautiful building, and then they're would walk away, right? So, and part of what my suggestion is that we actually do lend them the money. We
Mhm.
don't, and maybe there's some forgivable portions of it. We haven't gotten to that stage at all. We are just really in the early stages.
I just kind of wanted to get this out because I was,
Yep.
I knew about it, but then some of the people called and said, what's going on here? How come this is happening?
So, and once again, Heinrichs is retiring. And so we want to make sure that we do have, in fact, a grocery store in
Yeah.
place. Like it's very, very crucial to a community. And Bronson's does already support a lot of the people in this, in Dunn County. A lot of them go to Beulah. We've looked at the study, the feasibility study. And so it's an investment for them to come to Killdeer as well. And the thing that works really well, in my opinion, is logistics. They're only an hour away with their store so that they can bring additional support over if they need to. So, and keeping the cost of the groceries down because they have the store right in Beulah. So there's a lot of things that are being looked at there.
I just have to commend the city of Killdeer for, being willing to work with them, and because it is essential. It'll be the only grocery store in Dunn County. I mean, so it's essential, and
And I've had a few
appreciate-
people come in and ask, some questions, which I think is great. But there again, that's what, to me, the public meeting is about. I've also
Right.
been working with, or discussing it with Tyrell, our marketing and communications person, so that we can put together a fact sheet so that we can also get that information out to the people so they're not wondering what is truly going on. Here are the facts.
Mhm.
So we haven't put anything out because we're waiting there again.
Yeah.
JDA's tonight. After JDA, then it'll be the next step. So we're taking it very, in my opinion, very cautiously. But because we want to make sure all of our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted. So any other?
No, that's fine. I just wanted to bring it out and find out what was actually going on. So when someone calls, I can say, well,
You can point them in my direction and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
well, we had public meetings and stuff. That would be the best.
Yeah, and that is on the agenda. We just haven't set the date yet or any.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There were no permits. The special events permit.
Yes. The Buckskin is looking to hold the NDRA banquet on November 22nd at the rodeo grounds from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Kleeman, seconded by Commissioner Olson to approve the special events permit for the buckskin at the rodeo grounds on the 22nd of November. Okay. Any more discussion? I do know that it was originally scheduled to be in Watford City.
No,
Eh,
Medora.
Medora, okay, and there was conflict, so it's kind of nice that they're coming to Dunn County. Okay, all in favor of approving the permits, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Jen. Hey, I brought up the holiday, the day after Christmas would be a Friday, and then the weekend. I know Sally had checked, there's several counties that are giving that day off. And I guess it would be up to this board if we would approve that. The day after Christmas, and then the other would be the day after New Year's. Will be the same situation.
They're both on Fridays.
Yeah,
I'd make a motion to go ahead and give the employees both Fridays off.
Second.
motion by Commissioner Kleeman, seconded by Commissioner Heiser to authorize the Friday after Christmas and New Year's to be a day off for employees.
So
Need for the,
how does that work with, I mean, we got road department, they usually have Fridays off anyway.
Mhm.
So are all them guys getting an extra day's wages for that day then?
I guess that's,
I think they take off on Thursday,
Yeah, they
that's
got
usually,
Thursday for Christmas off, so
Yeah.
they take off Wednesday and stuff.
probably.
So how long hours do we work on Fridays?
That's
I think it's
most of the office here is only half
half,
Fridays.
so it'd be 4 hours.
I'd just suggest that we pay them all then, the
Mhm.
4 hours.
Oh, it's the same.
Pay them and give it off, don't do.
Well, that's part of the deal of having it off. So.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying the employees have 4-hour day? I mean, the ones that work in the courthouse and the offices. So they would get 4 hours with pay in the road department. The same on Wednesday is Christmas Eve, so that's a half day of work. So they would be off 4 hours on Wednesday, Christmas
Yep.
Eve.
Wouldn't get any extra pay, it's just that they back their time off
Yeah.
a little bit sooner.
Sheriff's department, they would have employees working full day Fridays though.
Mhm.
And that's, you guys, payroll knows how to handle all that. Like,
This isn't the first time this has been done.
I know, no, it's not. So,
One thing nice about it is if somebody wants to go somewhere, they don't have to be back on Friday, they could spend a long weekend somewhere.
was the motion understood? Then
No, what's the motion at now, I guess?
the motion is to allow Fridays the Friday after Christmas and the Friday after New Year's to be off with pay for employees. And well, to further get in the weeds, when it comes to the road department that has Friday off anyway, they have 4 hours off. They don't have to work on Wednesday.
Time
And
off for time
the
off.
sheriff department too, on how because they're a 24/7 operation, so however that works for who's on and.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Okay. That, Back the Blue grant. So the award amount is $27,568.80. And it just needs our approval to accept the award.
Is this the one where we gotta give the $125?
No, this is just the new grant, yeah.
Okay. We need a motion to accept
Yep,
that.
we-
I'd so moved. I'll second the
Motion by Commissioner Pouton, seconded by Commissioner Olson to approve or accept the award for the Back the Blue grant in the amount of $27,568.80. More discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Know that we need that on the agenda about the $125. I think that's just gonna be in our bills. Sally had sent out that notice that there was an overpayment.
Yep. I didn't know if we
And,
needed to make a motion.
rather than take it out of the employee, the deputy's wages, that the $125 would just be paid out of the sheriff's budget, so.
Okay, I just didn't
don't
want it
think we're-
left.
All right. Time is it? 9:39. We're really cruising, you guys.
Luann, you have something to say, don't you?
No. Okay.
We do want to be out by noon, though.
Why don't we do take a look at the vouchers? Jen sent them out. Is it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. So Okay, I had a question on under capital projects, interstate engineering, construction and commissioning for 99,554.41. I'm just wondering why that was under capital projects, if it had to do with the public service center building. Or if it should be under road department.
Didn't they do some surveying over that? It shouldn't have been for that amount.
That's just it. It was the quick,
Yeah,
just a survey. It wasn't
yeah.
$100,000.
Was there
survey.
something about the ground there though that?
They didn't do
Geotech-
that.
Oh, they
Technical?
didn't.
Should be in our list there.
Oh, it's a county road. Construction and commissioning phase services for design and construction of County Road 27th Street.
Bet you it was for the
Yeah.
construction engineering for the
Yeah,
project.
yeah. So it should be under road and bridge.
Okay.
Yeah. Should-
See for the sheriff department for Jim, is that for in the, or do they take that to the old sample building or? Okay.
Madam Chairman, I move to approve as presented then. That one change, getting put in Wright's place.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
A motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Olson to approve the list of vouchers with the correction of the road, the change to the road department. Any further discussion? We'll have roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton, Commissioner Kleeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell.
Yes, the motion carries. Why don't we take a break? We'll get back in, I think. Or about 10 o'clock.
Half hour. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
half hour.
4 hours.
Maybe they'll be in early.
15.
Yeah,
Barely.
let's hope. She's in training for, tax state.
I thought they told me she was back about the 1st of November.
Oh, yeah, yeah, she's back, yeah.
Aaron,
Okay.
why don't you just join me up here?
You want me to?
Yep.
Get up.
Then I don't have to, during the process, I don't have to.
Okay, so Commissioner Dukart and Aaron Olson are here to talk about, Lake Ilo, purchasing some additional land, so go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you, Tracy, so much. Commissioners, fellow commissioners, public, there's, back in the back, I put a, if you're interested in trying to follow along a little bit, it's the executive summary of Lake Ilo Park area purchase that we'll be talking about today. So it's public information for you there. That's part of the packet of a lot of information that I handed out to you guys. Let me put it that way. With me today, we couldn't get any of the other board members because of medical appointments, and our directors also had a medical issue today that he didn't want to get away from, Will. So you get me as board chairman, Daryl Dukart, and Aaron as the friend of Lake Ilo and the individual that kind of manages the park underneath the park board for us. Aaron is not a park board member, has no voting rights with us, but understands and knows the knowledge of Lake Ilo very well. So today I'm bringing forth in front of you what started in a discussion in 2 meetings that happened at the park board of, is the timing perfect to buy the 13.3 acres that the park leases from Lake Ilo Refuge and the Federal Fish and Wildlife Service with the people that are in positions in the federal government. And at the last meeting, without a motion, I will stress that without a motion, it was the discussion led that Daryl was supposed to grab this, the chairman of the board, and see what he could learn and find out. Well, it took me probably 25, 30 hours to figure out what really I was shooting at. Took me another 15 to 20 hours to teach myself how to use AI and Copilot to get the information that I really needed to get. But I think it all turned out fairly good. At the end of the day, you can see the information here. Just for your information, Mr. Merriman, I understand yep, I see you on the picture now. I left a pamphlet on Christina's desk, and when I leave, I'll probably take that into her office to make sure you guys can get a copy of it and look at it. Of
And
the information
yeah,
Go ahead.
I took a look at the federal law on this too, so I think I'm up to speed on how the process works.
All right, thank you. So in your packet today, we have a number of points of information that I'm going to try and cover. First of all, I'm going to go back to some basics. The county must follow federal land disposal process with this project. So we have to determine if the land is accessible, and that'll be a process we go through with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I had a little visitation on the phone yesterday with Sean Lufgren, and he is now the state's manager for the Fish and Wildlife Services, like Lake Ilo Refuge. And he explained to me too that you don't just do this a one-time stop. You'll end up doing some of these things twice, because you get everything approved by the regional office. Then the regional office takes it on to the federal office in Colorado. And in the meantime, you still have to be working your congressional people at the state level to get everything ready. So if the federal side takes it, that the state can take it. Our senators can introduce a bill, get it into the Congress system. And that brings to the conclusion of kind of a whole scenario of things that have to happen. And the details are all in there, and we'll kind of go through them. But we're probably looking at a minimum of 4 years, 3 to 4 years. And as a department personnel at the Hovens office told me, you don't know about Congress right now. She said, so if it happens underneath the present administration, the national administration, she said, Congress could take you 3 years just to get it in a bill there. we're looking at a very lengthy time frame, a very lengthy process. Then at the end of it, you come to the negotiation, purchasing terms, and we have to make sure the funds are secured, et cetera, which is something I think most of you commissioners understand. You have been involved in something similar to that in other projects already. Before we get into some of the details in your packet, I still would like to cover some of the reasons why we felt this was important. And I'm going to turn it over to Aaron after I'm done speaking. I was hoping we'd have one or two more board members here, but again, medical things didn't allow that to happen. But we have been doing a number of things at Lake Isle, from the adding of trails to the park, child playground park system that we put in there. Keep improving and working on the buildings, making sure things happen, planting trees, planting a pollinator garden. And there's things that I've missed. And we're encouraging activities. We're trying to, as a park board, trying to get the public to come out there and use it more. We lost a little bit probably the last 2 years with the water situation and the leak in the dam that had to get fixed and repaired and et cetera, et cetera. But Mother Nature is going to bring that water back for us someday, and we hopefully will have some fishing opportunities and probably even some other boat water use activities, if I can call it that. So Aaron, I'm going to let you put a little spill in there for a little bit, and then we'll move on to what was actually in their packet.
Well, I don't know what the commissioners really want, but my role is kind of do the stuff that the government hasn't done. And the short answer to that, they haven't done anything in the last probably 8 years. With the help of the park board, we keep the park clean. And we've, as Daryl said, we've added playthings, natural playscape for the kids. Put about 6 miles of hiking paths in there. When we had water, we get anywhere from 12, 15 to 30 out-of-state people that would come and just to see what's there. And of course, when the water went away, most of the people went away, and unfortunately, the local people went away. We've had a cleanup day. This year was the best cleanup day that we had. I kind of baited that a little bit by having an event over at my place, which is next to the county park. And I'd like to see more people use it. I was actually born in Dunn Center, so I have a 80-year involvement with this area. My grandfather, back in the 40s, was the chairman for the dedication of that. And at that time, the city of Dunn Center had an integral part on what happened in the park. Then over the years, the county didn't have a park board. Dunn Center didn't have a park board, and the government kind of took control of everything. In the last 10 to 12 years, Dunn County has developed a park board that's very efficient and very dedicated to keeping people and keeping activities in Dunn County for those people. And Daryl's goal, my goal, the park board's goal is to expand on that. We also have to preserve the historical artifacts that are there. We understand that. I think that's integral into what makes that place unique. And I think if Dunn County has a responsibility, more of a responsibility for maintaining that, it'll get better for the public. And as we get the public in there, we keep the monies here. Gives us more local responsibility and control. I'm not sure all what the commissioners, what questions they have. I can answer them.
Thank you, Aaron. Again, there's a lot of history that goes back to a lot of families from the time that lake was built. In my own personal family, my wife's grandfather was the head of the building of the Lake Ilo back in the late 38, 39, 40s. And then he managed it. Chesley Dinkins was the manager of that refuge until he retired. And I don't even remember the years now, but I can remember him being there as a manager and riding around with him many times. But lots of history goes back there. A lot of marriages went back there back in the 40s and 50s. Different information we're finding out. A lot of historical value. Thank you, Aaron. First of all, as you guys went through the front page you got was on today, and it's just kind of a basic review. Then you get into the executive summary. This goes kind of through how this thing all happens and how do we get it purchased. There's some major steps in there. Again, it's the Fish and Wildlife Service surplus determination, the formal petition, congressional authorization, environmental and culture compliance, public input, negotiation and funding, and then the final transfer. So that's the time frame of things and why the long process with the probably the congressional authorization being the bigger issue to get it moved through in the system. Then I have a summary of periods required, or summary of required points, excuse me. And that is just for you to have a clearer understanding as commissioners of what has to happen. And as I went through this process, I thought we, the park board, would try to be the key players. Well, I think we're going to be the secondary players from what I can gather and read about this. I mean, we will have to put the dedication into helping guide if you commissioners are acceptable to this. But at the end of the day, because of the financing, because of the authority, it's all going to come back to the commission and the administration of the county. So I'm hoping, and I do explain that somewhat in the back of the program. So the next page that you guys get is a detailed action plan. And I think we'd have to follow this pretty close. I went over this a little bit with Sean yesterday briefly, and I'm pretty much on target. So the two of us have had that discussion. And as him as manager of refuges understands and had some knowledge of where we're coming from, what we're doing, and along the point, like you said, Daryl, keep me informed so I know who's kind of the key people at all times that I would have to have a visitation with or confront to have discussion with. So that would happen. Then you have the assigning of responsibilities. And this is where I was talking about where the commissioners and your administration comes into play. And the board chairman's always going to be a key role because a lot of things that we do that are done through the state's attorney's office is the legal information shared with the regional and the federal level in Denver are going to all have to be signed off by the chairman of the board at some point in time. By Robert's rules, I don't know if every one of them is going to have a motion. If you guys move to accept and move forward with it now, or if it's going to be individually. Probably Pat can answer that for us. Pat, you have a response to that? You're muted.
Yeah, trying to get this thing to work. Okay. It would have to be by resolution of the county commission. And then at that point, there are certain, Daryl's executive summary sets out the steps that are necessary. And taking a look at the federal regulations that pertain to this, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service doesn't have the same general authority to dispose of its lands that like the Bureau of Land Management does. So it's strictly regulated. And you need to make sure we comply with the recommendations that Daryl has made in his executive summary. My investigation or the research I've done so far, I think there's an estimate of 2 to 4 years here. Realistically, with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, it will probably be a minimum of 4 years before it's approved. But if the specific question is how the county would move forward with ratifying this, I think it would be by motion and by confirmation of it, and then adopting the petition and moving forward from there.
Thank you. So I guess it's probably a good point now if you have any questions that Pat could respond to.
Hey, I guess I have a question. So you have like major steps, the surplus determination by the Fish and Game or Fish and Wildlife. Without that, nothing happens. Is that right?
That is my understanding from my research. I think you would agree with me, Pat, right?
Correct.
So that definitely is the first step.
Yeah, this is the first step. And if there's no action from you, the commissioners, it just falls dead. I mean, and then it goes back to, can the park board do anything? And then I got to go through a whole new research to figure that one out. So.
And so this 13.2 acres, is that all what the park is now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
But they would still have, would they be involved at all with the management of, the water, the lake?
Oh, yes, they don't take
still-
nothing away from them other than the park area.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly what the final decision would be as far as what we would classify as a waterfront, from the edge of the water to the actual park area. Is it going to be similar to the Corps of Engineers? Is it going to be different? I have no idea. That's something that will have to happen at some point in time. I'm not even familiar with another area that had went through this. Are you, Aaron?
Well, this may or may not be relevant, but you'd have to look at the original deeds when the land was transferred or acquired. My property goes from when the lake is full, water's going over the spillway. My property line is 30 yards into the lake. And I know the one next to me, I think, which is now owned by the government, that property line is in the lake. I would assume because it's on the eastern part of the that property, that probably the park is similar, but I don't know that. You'd have to go back to the original transfer documents in 1938.
The abstract that kind of come with the lease does show it that way. Yep. It shows us like at high water level, we'd be about 30 feet in, but again, that's something that's all going to be negotiated when the agreement is drawn up, if we get to that point,
So by going forward, if this all goes, and we are able to purchase it, so the control, like, we had to do the landscape all natural for the playscape for the kids. This would allow the park board to do other improvements without having to meet the standards that the Fish and Wildlife.
Tracy, but probably not fully, because you're still going to be dealing, whatever you do, you're going to be dealing with public safety. You're going to be dealing with the landscape in the area that thing is tied to. So SHPO's still going to play some part of any future development.
One of the standards I think that we would need to comply with, just because the area around there is still refuge, is what the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, as well as North Dakota Game and Fish, they call compatible use. So we couldn't do something that would be destructive or invasive
Sure.
to the surrounding area.
At this time, I would say this park board has no future vision of changing that into a overnight camping site, anything like that. We've talked about it briefly, but it's never moved forward.
How long is your current lease good for? Is it year by year, or is it?
You would,
Perpetual.
yeah,
Perpetual?
Perpetual.
yeah. We just renewed another one, but I think it's like 20 years. Carrigan, you remember? Okay. Right, because we just renewed and accepted a new one here at a board meeting, and I don't remember. It was just some different terms they put in or what, I can't tell you that.
Perpetual lease.
So the reference why I called on Kerry here was Kerry originally was kind of our director for the original park board until, 2 years, we've moved to Will as being our director. So we use a lot of Kerry crossover back because she's got probably as much knowledge as anybody on what happened in the past year. Going back to then, I come into the pamphlets I handed out to you. You'll have a single page that just gives you it's just how I got to the timeline template that I want to show you guys in the next deal. So it's nothing really to be concerned about. Gives you a list of the activities, gives you the people that are kind of going to be in charge of doing that. And that can change. I mean, it depends how we do things there. And then at the end of the day, it's the time frame. So you get to the next page, and I asked AI to put me together a email that would represent the time frames, and that's what we got out of it. And when I read through it, I thought, well, this makes sense. You look at the backside of the page, they're really pushing things very fast on it, and they get it all done within 1 year. But I think you can just say for safetiness, if we started this project the 1st of January in 26, and when you get to the back page, you'd probably be looking at January of 2030 by the time we'd be back at this commission, even thinking about a purchase agreement on it if it was approved. So I had a little discussion with the attorney's office, and that was some of the information that I could provide for you guys. In the next page, and that's the last page in the file that I give you, is a sample of project team rosters, who plays what part and why they play that part. So from there, try and entertain any questions, try and answer them if we can.
Question I got, Daryl, is the county, I mean, I think would be up to the kind of what the public feels too. Or should we be in the business of owning real estate? I mean, that's some of the question, I'm sure people are going to ask, it's really not in our wheelhouse, other than courthouses and shops and now we start owning real estate. So I get it. It's good for the people to go out there and stuff, but that's my concern. Should we be owning real estate?
Understand, but I don't know who else is going to own it
Yeah,
other than the
it's-
federal refuge.
Yeah.
And
it's
we
a
continue to invest the money, trying to make it a good public use
Right,
and
yeah.
at our expense instead of the, I don't, unless administration wise, it changes at the federal level in 3 years. I don't see that return to them investing dollars into the historical value of it or keeping it a public interest area.
Excuse me, not our, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service last project leader, Todd Ferricks. I had a discussion with him approximately 4, maybe 5 years ago. And he told me there would be no capital expenditures at Lake Ilo for a minimum of 15 years. And that was a few years ago.
10 more years.
And even prior to that, they didn't do a whole lot. It took us 5+ years to get them to do some repairs on the bathhouse and the toilets. Even though Bob Brew and I had arranged to do it for free. And some of the materials are still over in the warehouse. they just don't want to do anything out there. Whether it's low priority on their part or monies, I can't answer that.
Personally, I think if we're gonna be putting money into parks and stuff, and we're leasing that ground, I'd rather own it and put it in than to lease it and then have the chance of losing it all someday.
You know, we're putting resources in there with trees and some other
Yeah.
things and volunteer help, if nothing else. Would agree. I think the county should own it.
I agree.
Yeah, that's kind of, I would say, Commissioner Pelton, where the board actually stands at. We have, and I'm just going to use this for an example, so it's a little clearer to your understanding. We have 5 dead cottonwood trees that are either threatening the fishing pier or threatening the bathhouse, the old bathhouse, that we just, well, that the brand new roof was just put on now 2 years ago down there. The trees are about 85 feet tall. As the board chairman, I mean, we talked about having the county come in and do it. We have a couple things there. First of all, we don't own the property, so whatever kind of equipment we bring in, if we start disturbing the surfaces in the wrong way, is it going to disrupt our lease? That's number one. Number two is, do we have professionally trained employees at the county level to take down these larger trees? So the bark board now comes to the decision where we probably should try to hire a professional tree remover. We did. We didn't get a bid under $15,000 to remove them trees. So now we're struggling with, do we try to remove them? How do we get a separate grant to do that before they do fall over and do damage property and actually cost us more than the $13,000 or $15,000 number? So that's kind of an example of where we talk about keeping the place safe for the public, but yet covering the bases that we need to cover to make that happen.
Are there any other questions?
Didn't the city of Parks and Dickinson actually go through that same process of getting the lots around Patterson Lake? I think
I believe they did, but I don't know
that was a
how they
long
done it.
process
Yeah.
too, I think.
I don't think that was federal though, was it? For some reason, I think it was just state, but I could be wrong, you know.
So today you're looking for this mission, whether or not we feel this is something we want to move forward with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And again, we go back to the whole thing. This whole thing goes through actually a
yeah.
public hearing from the regional level, then again to the federal level and up. So the public, you know, the people that are listening or the people sitting behind us today are as one person called me the other morning, are you guys buying the whole refuge? And no, we're not. We're just buying 13.3 acres, just the park. We don't want nothing to do with the refuge. And probably you guys feel different, but I don't want nothing to do with the refuge as the chairman of the board, park board. So. Madam Chairman, I guess I got 2 loaded questions. You have any idea what they're thinking for a price? I don't know. My research led me down this path, Commissioner Kleeman, if I can share this with you. And again, this is just research. I found where they actually determined a value after they done an evaluation and an appraisal on it, on some projects that were somewhat similar to this. One was in Oregon and the other one was in California. And the values were not as high as I thought they would be. They put a lot value on it for so many acres, not an value per acre, because there was other capital projects improvements that had been done in that time. So when I figured it out, it come to about $8,000 an acre is what it come to, which is, I wouldn't use that number for the reason that I don't know what them projects really look like. But there was also in the same tone, because it ended up being through the promise of the people to manage it, to continued to be a public use and abide by the Fish and Wildlife Service regulations on the surrounding land that was donated to them, just so they didn't have the responsibility of maintaining anymore. So I would think that would be more of our focus. I think that's the actual park board focus too, just so we're seeing our dollars investment from you, the commissioners, through our budget being safe and retained a county project.
And do you figure, I know, pretty much what's been going on out
Yeah.
there. Do you think we're gonna have a lot more control? Or do you think they're still gonna say, no, you can't do that? I mean, like even taking these trees out and stuff, that we can go in there and cut them down, get them out without them.
Commissioner Kleeman, I believe once we own that property, we'll be able to manage that side of it, because anything we do is about public safety or public gain for recreation, so.
My last conversation with Carrie Bauer, because I've kind of do stuff out there. And she told, and there were trees that have died that I could manage. And she said, as long as you're doing it, you're not destroying anything and it needs to be done, you can do it. Just don't disturb the topsoil, don't wreck any buildings. You can do it.
I think a lot of your questions are going to be answered if we ever get into the negotiations with them. And at that point in time, you still have the choice. We have the choice as a park board. You as commissioners have the choice to continue to move forward or not if it's something we don't like. So, but I think that's where we're going to find out what they're going to allow us to continue to do and not do if there is going to be any stipulations. I don't know.
Any other questions? I would make a motion to move forward with the process for the Lake Ilo Park area purchase of the 13.3 acres. To move forward with the process. wherever
I'll second
takes
that.
us. Any other discussion? Any more discussion?
I kind of get it, but I'm still got a little bit of heartburn over it. But I guess even if we would vote to go for today, as time goes on, we'll probably have a better idea what's really going to happen, whether it's even possible or whether this sitting board will even be here before it's finalized.
Madam Chairman, Commissioner Heiser, you're right. I mean, if you guys say no today, just whatever I done here is nullified completely. If you agree to keep moving forward, we keep going through the step by step by step, and we might not get past the regional step, which is about probably, if we start this in early January, probably by March or April, we might have an idea where we are, and it might stop right there. Who knows?
I mean, the next board, who's ever here then, when the price comes in, we'll have to decide whether they're acceptable to that price or not.
Sure.
Yeah. Madam Chairman, if I may speak again. So that's kind of where the initial thinking, I would say, at the board meeting was just go out and find out and let's get this thing, try and get this thing done. Well, when I started, like I said, when I started doing the due diligence on this, it's not as simple as you think. So as I found all this out, that's when I decided, I called Will and I said, I got to take this to commissioners. I said, I don't even have to go back to the park board. I got to take this to the commissioners. The commissioners are going to say, yes, Daryl, you keep moving forward. You find the right people. You get your board chairman, your administrator and Sally, and when paperwork needs to be done, because all of this stuff from now forward has to come on letterheads from Dunn County, not from Daryl Ducart. I mean, I'm kind of like the nobody in the system right now then, once you guys agree today, so.
And I can appreciate all the research you did and put into this. And if we're not going to support this, but you don't can appreciate all the work that would. Yeah.
Well, that's
So,
when you're chairman of the board and the board says, go look for it, go do it. So you do it.
yeah.
I mean, all we're giving them is our backing right now that we support what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions for Daryl or Aaron? If not, let's have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes, the motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you. And
I do have a couple questions at this point. As I start to prepare and we work with the state's attorney's office and start to move forward with this, getting the right people in position. You, the chairman, have the authority from, as I went through today, to make a sign off on a lot of things that have to be done. My question to the commissioners is, every time we need a piece of action that's just preliminary paperwork getting to the next step, do I need to bring this back to you at that meeting, or just have the discussion with the chairman and we move forward from there?
I myself would say if we just deal with the chairman and
Okay. There will be times when we have to come back. I know that, but there's going to be a lot of, as I call them, preliminary times, emails that'll be shared and sent, because everything's pretty much done by email nowadays. So all of that stuff is just going to be through the chairman. And I'll probably shift gears a little bit and get Will Albright, the director of the park board, to be the second person working, even though I will help him keep things organized and moving forward.
Guys, I would adopt a resolution at this meeting that any routine matter pertaining to the application process or anything that doesn't come under the direct purview of the county commission be handled by the presiding commissioner, and just adopt that by resolution. That would cover your tail in case somebody complains.
Okay, Pat, let me ask you, then being we have two commissioners sitting on the park board, does that make any difference?
Guys, it's a sketchy area. You know, we've talked about this. If you have two commissioners sitting on the board that are making these decisions, technically, according to the Attorney General, that's a public meeting and you run into that public notice problem. Delegating the day-to-day operation to one person, if it's something that is questionable, all they've got to do is contact our office. We have a public meeting like you're doing today. I don't know that delegating it to a portfolio holder really solves the problem. It may create an additional problem. Simply delegating your presiding commissioner to deal with it today by resolution, I think does solve that problem. Guess we'll find out.
Aren't the park boards noticed?
They are. Yeah, the park boards are noticed and,
And it-
yeah, there's not an issue with that. So-
I'd go ahead and move to make that resolution. I don't know how you want it worded, Pat, but
I don't know if I can repeat it verbatim either.
but I mean,
To authorize the,
yeah, to authorize that our chairman has the right to sign whatever needs to proceed with this application.
there's a second.
I'll second that.
A motion by Commissioner Pelton, second by Commissioner Olson to authorize the chairperson to sign any basically routine matters with the Lake Isle Park acquisition. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Good,
Thank you, Commissioner.
thank you.
Good luck.
Sounds good.
I need a lot of luck.
That was-
Got a question.
Yeah, Desi.
Desi's got a question.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Daryl and Aaron.
You bet.
You're welcome. Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, Desi. Slim.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Sally asked me to come in and give you guys a reminder that previously this board had made a motion and approved for Christmas Eve of this year to be a full day off.
Mhm.
And she wanted to make sure you guys remembered that as you made that motion earlier to give that additional day.
And typically it would be 4 hours.
Typically,
We would work in the morning and have the afternoon off, correct?
normally for Christmas.
That would be normally.
Yeah, normally for Christmas Eve is a half day,
Mm.
but previously you guys approved it being a whole day. And she just wanted to make sure you're aware of that before you guys left here today.
I remember that too.
To what it would affect. I mean, we talked about the road department taking that half day
Mhm,
Wednesday,
mhm.
but
So they have that off. They would have it off
They'd
too
have
from
it
that
too.
previous motion.
Correct, yes, ma'am.
That was a few months back, wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions on that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, Desi had put some open enrollment information at her desk. If questions, ask Desi. Yep. All right. Did we get to the end of the agenda?
Motion to adjourn.
That's always
We had
Bob's.
time doing that.
That's always Bob's.
Thanks, Bob.
Motion by Commissioner Kleeman, seconded by Commissioner Olson to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 10:45.
Bob, it took us a long time last meeting to,
I heard that.
nobody